Kia ora morena, hi, welcome to level 3 hashtag my New Zealand tutor. Let me show you how you want to start your whole year, because this essay question, which is the written and the visual text for two of your exams, if you're doing 2 or 1, whatever, is a really good way of starting your whole year and thinking about texts for your whole year. So do this at the start, keep reminding yourself through the middle of the year, and at the end of the year, you'll write really good essays. Let's just go through it, discuss the extent to which you agree with your chosen statement. Full stop. That's one sentence. The second one is respond critically to the statement by making a close analysis of the text. Now I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to stop and pause and answer it for yourself. I'm going to do that a few times, and then check your answers, because this is actually quite interesting to do for you. This is part of the learning, your pre-test, if you like. What do you think in these 2 sentences that make up your question? I know, no question mark, what's with that? But we come to know that, haven't we, through level 1 and level 2, that this is a question, even though there's no question mark. This is actually what we're answering. The chosen statement affects it and develops our argument, but actually this is what we need to be aware of as the question. So what is the most important? I have so many different answers for this. Just pause and then decide which words are the most important. So some people choose discuss. Is that what you chose? Discuss? Actually, it's not the most important, but it is important for understanding the structure of your essay. So let's write it as number 3. You know what discuss means, because by now you have described, explained, analysed. So discuss is the next level up. So when you're discussing things, you want your point or your argument and how you would rebut or argue against the other side. So someone taking the opposite point of view, how would you give evidence that you're right? So what we discover is it's a little bit like science, for those of you still doing science, or if you recall back when you were doing level 1 science, where you have to say, this is what I thought, this is what I found, and this is the answer. And this is and particularly geography students have lovely essays where they say there's this option, but we're going to choose this one, it's the best one. Or history, they say this is the best option. And so again, with the English, you're going to look at your side and rebut the other side, a little bit of looking at their side, and then say that you're right because you've got the most evidence. So of course, evidence is really important. You can tell I'm really good at writing on the board. But evidence, which comes from the close analysis, is later on. So we'll make it 5 for now. Could be 6. So it's not the first one, but we know, you know, from level 1 and level 2 that you need lots of evidence in the forms of quotes, in the forms of, if you're using a visual text, shots, camera shots. But now you're at level 3, so you need 3 things to back up. So visual, sound, and one other. Maybe a quote, maybe an extra visual, maybe an extra sound. And of course, at level 3, there are important funky technical words that need to go in there. That's a different video. So this one here, if you chose these two, well done. They're important, but they're a bit further down. So let's go straight to the jugular, which is the most, that's a metaphor, which is the most important, and the most important is you agreeing. So number one, it's quite simple. You need to put, do I agree or I disagree? Remember, you can disagree, but you can only choose one. So you have to decide which one you're going to do. That is the most important. So number two, let's jump. Did you get this one? The extent to which is a very small word that you're going to add in there. And number two is the extent. So it's something like I substantially agree or disagree. I greatly agree. I strongly agree. And you'll notice that these words, substantially, greatly, and strongly, have the ly, so that adverbs, because they're relating. Oh, I spelled agree wrong. That's exciting. So they're related to the verb, which is the doing. Get under there, which is agree. So they have an ly. So if you remember that the first thing I have to do is agree or disagree, the second thing I have to do is add an ly word, then you are on the way, my friend, to level 3. That's great. So these are vital. Then, of course, you've got to make sure that you are saying what your point is and discussing it with evidence and talking about the opposite point. So the chosen statement is one of the ones listed. And it's about 4, my numbers are out of order. It's about 4 because you do need to look at your statement words and have them in there. That's really important. Did you get that as one of the things? We'll come back to chosen statements later because that's something specific for the exam, but it's also good to practice through the year if you have trouble learning, if you have trouble with your inference and understanding what things say, and you often get questions wrong. We need to do that. So don't worry about that. This is for the whole year that you are going to have this focus. Now, in the second part, we've done the first sentence. In the second sentence, and remember, you can stop, go back and listen to me again. That's not a problem, but I'm going to keep rolling on because we've got up to the 8-minute mark, and that's quite a lot. Respond and critically. So I want to talk about this one first. So it's going to be about number 6, that you are a critic. That is the base word of critically. If I take this, one of those lovely ly words, if I take that off and I take off this suffix as well, then critic is and you'll all know the base word. You will all know about film critics and people who criticise or evaluate gaming, online gaming, books, films, all of our entertainment, sports. So this year you are going to be a film critic or a book critic. Congratulations, let me shake your hand. You've got a new job, but I'm not going to pay you. You're going to pay yourself. So you are going to be a critic. You're going to be serious. You're going to be thoughtful. You're going to be thought-provoking, and you're going to tell people one way or the other whether this is a good film. Did the director do a good job? Did the novelist do a good job? And please don't save the ending for us. This is not a real film critic. You have to tell the marker or your teacher the ending. It's really important. So remember that. Always talk about the ending as well. There's no surprises for them. They've watched it a million times. The last one, I know I'm going fast, so put it on slow or go back and re-listen, is respond And you know about response. Response is how I feel. Did my stomach clench? Was I on the edge of my seat? Did I get goosebumps? Was I really angry with that character? Did I get upset with that character? Did I want to tell them off? Did I feel sad for them? So really get into your feelings and really this year get into how did my body feel? If you can add in that the director or the author made your stomach tense up, that your knuckles were white, or in the tense scenes, or that you were sobbing using handkerchiefs, that's really good evidence of response, and it's really important. So think of your physiological aspects, which are what your body does. And if you personally, because I have had students who say, my body doesn't react to films, my body doesn't react to books, that's fine. If it's in your head and an intellectual thing, go and ask mum, ask dad, ask your caregiver, ask your friend, ask the teacher, what should I be feeling? I feel kind of tense. I feel kind of sad. What would my body be doing? And just get some good ideas. So I've whipped across to 11 minutes and a half. That's a long time for you to stay focused and really absorb this. But this year, please remember that first of all, do you agree or disagree with how the director, and you can disagree, how the director or the author has written or produced your text? That's really important. Constantly think about, do you greatly agree? Do you strongly agree? And if you strongly disagree, then that's your answer. Always be strong. Always have a substantial reaction. It's quite hard to write if you're mediocre. And if you are mediocre, then you have to put that feeling in a box, leave it at the door, metaphorically. So with you literal people, don't put it in the box. What I mean is, please decide what your feelings are going to be, whether you're going to be strongly liking it and the director did a great job, or strongly disagreeing. It's much better if you can be one way or the other. And if you don't like something, that's good. You can write a brilliant essay on that. So just be aware, but you've got to be careful. You can't just dislike it. You need to know what they're doing wrong and be analytical, which I know a lot of you literal people are very analytical, which is good. So think about depth, think about serious evidence. These are the things. The sound doesn't make me feel, the characters don't draw me in. Be really clear on what it is. Remember your statement words, that comes later. But there's going to be lots of discussion. Remember that you can grab classmates' ideas, teachers' ideas. They're all yours. You're allowed them. They are not, it's not plagiarism to add them into your essay, except where you are quoting from a proper source and you don't put that this is actually from a source. If it's a classmate's comment, a teacher's comment, part of a discussion, you can have that as your own. Be a critic all year. Practice, practice, practice. Deciding, do I agree with this? Do I like this? Do I think they did well? Gather your evidence all year. Oh, that was a good one. I like that scene. Quick, write it down, make a note, take a photo, make a note on your computer, take your own video so that you've got the evidence ready. And what was your response? Or grab someone else's from class. Did someone say, oh, made me really frightened? Whatever. Grab that and make a note of it. That's really important. So level 3, New Zealand curriculum for English, discuss the extent to which. Good luck.